speak to the report by the Government, Energy and Finance Committee, or GEF Committee, as we do know it. The work of the Auditor-General is obviously very important to the operation of government here in Queensland. And I'll just echo some of the comments from the member for Coomera. And what I think it shows is that Queensland does have a healthy set of books, no matter which this government, I think you can say, has inherited a pretty robust situation. They show that its expenditure has grown, but it shows that revenue is relatively consistent. There has been an increase in value in our investments, but that is mirrored by, as we've heard, an increase in net debt, and that is because of borrowing for our capital projects. And it's no surprise, net debt will increase as we build more infrastructure here in Queensland, and that's very clear in report number 12. And it's something that I think that this government needs to keep in mind, and that is, if we are to get the infrastructure that we need for our booming population, we have to fund it, and fund it through borrowings is what I believe one of the most secure ways to do that. I represent part of southeast Queensland, which in Australia is clearly booming. There are enormous population pressures from interstate in our region, in Moreton Bay, and there are very clear pressures on our infrastructure. We really do need that infrastructure. And people know I first was on council in 2000. I spent 12 years on council, and we wrestled with infrastructure back then, and the question of how we pay for it. Always in councils, you're wrestling with the issue of how do we pay for this infrastructure that we do need. And we know now that the pressures of building its infrastructure they're more acute than ever. We've all seen around the world how the price of shipping has doubled and almost tripled over a number of years. The price of steel has doubled, concrete has gone through the roof. And it's not only that, it's pressures about getting the infrastructure built. There's real delays in getting experienced companies and personnel to do that. And the cost of labour is only a small, may I add, is probably only a small component of that. The issue there is, this report reminds us that, yes, there are pressures on net debt, but the pressures for infrastructure are so much larger. They're everyday pressures for our people. It's just a case of we just have to do it, we just have to build it. It's really important. Queensland's always been a place where we've built this infrastructure, funded through public debt. And I do know that in the 19th century, Queensland, building that incredible network of railways that we have now, had probably the highest debt in the world. We went railway crazy, and we had an enormous level of debt. But over 100 years later, 150 years later, that investment is bearing fruit every day. One of the other parts of the report that, and I will note and echo what the member for Coomera has said, and that's about those control systems. I think one of the most valuable contributions the Queensland Audit Office has done over the recent years is to bring our attention to potential deficiencies in these control systems. We need to get payroll secure, we need to get procurement secure, and especially IT secure. And the acting chair knows exactly how many years that we have dealt with this in these reports. And it's not only government departments, it's councils as well, any government entity in Queensland. It really is important, more than ever, cybersecurity, keeping our assets and our funds secure in a world where cyber theft is constantly threatening us. Cybersecurity is one of those areas that I hope that the Audit Office will keep investigating and keep ensuring and keep raising the issue of how much we need to improve in this area there. Because there are deficiencies, and we always encourage our government entities to keep on making sure that the work they do is secure. Thank you for that, Mr. Acting Speaker. I'm also pleased to see that we're issuing green bonds for investments to mitigate climate change as well. And I know we have to keep an eye on the impact of climate change on our infrastructure and services in the future.
Mr. Acting Speaker.
I call the member